So, can I scare you? Every bad round has programmed you to chant another bad round. Every good round has programmed you to chant another good round. If that doesn't shake you up, I give up. I retire. That should be like, oh my God, that is so true. I should be frightened of chanting bad rounds because, you know, for example, the procrastinator, I'll do it tomorrow. Does tomorrow ever come? No, tomorrow is eternal, right? What is the problem with the procrastinator? It always seems easier tomorrow, right? Chanting good japa is difficult. I'll start tomorrow. Here's the problem. It's actually harder tomorrow because you just went another day of creating improper samskars. So every time you say you think it's going to be easier tomorrow, you're fooling yourself. Because why would it be easier a day after you do it wrong? Why would doing another day of wrong make it easier the next day? It can only make it harder, right? So the sooner you try to improve your job, the more you focus on it, what's going to happen is it's going to get easier for you. It's going to become more natural to chant good rounds because you started habituating yourself to chanting this way. I chant at this time of day. I don't chant, in the middle of a mall, going for a walk in a mall, chanting and shopping. I don't chant and talk. You develop these habits. So it's quite easy just to chant well. It's just the way you do it. And it's also easy to not chant well because it's just the way you do it. So if you don't do it well, it's easy not to do it well. And if you do it well, you practice doing it well, it's easy to do it well. It's that simple. So, do you love yourself? Raise your hand if you love yourself. If you don't love yourself, we have windows we can throw you out. That will end your life immediately. That should satisfy you. Now, okay, love yourself, maybe, I don't know if everybody's ready for that. But if you want to be kind to yourself, you really want to take care of yourself, don't you think you should really try to chant good rounds? It'll make it easier for you to chant every day. It'll make it a greater experience for you, and it will help you tremendously. Yes? You agree with that? You like if you're kind on yourself, make it easy on yourself. So every day you think you're making it easy on yourself when you don't try to chant good rounds because it seems easier not to try, doesn't it? If I have to try, I have to sit up and stay awake and pray and meditate and connect with the meaning. That takes energy, Prabhu. And it's just easier to just chant. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Get your clicker, it's even easier because then you can just go anywhere with the clicker. Get on the bus, go shopping. I only used the clicker once in my life, and I chanted 192 rounds that day, and I thought, something's wrong with this clicker, This is not the way to chant, It was just wherever I was going, just completely spaced out, Krishna, Krishna, It didn't stop all day, but I didn't think I chanted one good bead the whole day, and I had this enormous number of rounds, So, that was easy. That day was easy, because Ram, 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 wherever I go, Ram, Ram, Ram. So we think, it takes energy to chant. It would be easier not. But then, if you don't put in the effort, what are you left with? You're left with these bad habits. And it's actually more difficult. And so maybe eventually to correct yourself is a little difficult. It takes effort. But eventually when you correct yourself, then it's easier because it becomes natural. It's just the way you do it. Now, I have a question for you. Do you have a certain tolerance level for disorganization? If it gets disorganized to this point, is it at that point you just say, that's enough, I have to clean my office, my room, my kitchen. There's a threshold. We all have different thresholds, right? Your threshold is 1 dirty cup in the sink. Your threshold is 436 dirty cups in the sink. But there's a threshold when you just say, I got to clean the kitchen, I got to clean my room, I have to clean my office, right? Why don't we make a threshold? When our japa, it goes down to a certain level, we say, that's it, I have to go up. Using this example, you will realize that sometimes your japa goes way below where it should go, and you don't do anything. Yes or yes? Yes. What I would suggest to you is to try to see if you can create an internal threshold. So when your japa goes below a certain point, it stops and you push it back up. Because you've developed that habit. So you can't chant bad japa anymore. You've made it impossible to chant bad japa because you have a threshold and you won't go below it because you know it's bad for you, it's bad for your relationship with Krishna, it's offensive to Krishna, you catch it. So that's the problem, isn't it? The problem is we go below the threshold of good, we let it go bad, and there's 430 dirty dishes in the sink, and we're like, whatever, it's too much trouble to clean them, you know. That's bad, right? Yes? That is called laziness, Prabhus, Matajis. Laziness is another word, a synonym for tamaguna, in case you didn't know. Yeah. We have to be sattvic. All right. Yes, you had a...
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, you mentioned about threshold. Means like we should have a threshold, like if our chanting is going below the threshold. So most of the time I don't even know whether my chanting is going below.
Yeah, exactly.
So how do I know what is a good threshold which can be observed or measured or whatever? Explicit something? Could you give
I don't think you can really understand the threshold until you chant good japa. You know, have you ever eaten something and you thought it was good until someone else made it who really knows how to make it, and then you realize what you thought was good wasn't? You ever had that experience? Or whatever it is, with food or something. You ever have that experience? Like someone does something so well that you realize, oh, that's how it's supposed to taste. You know? So, whatever I'm teaching you here today is meant to take you to that, oh, that's what japa is all about. I didn't know that. I thought I was doing okay. But so once you have that, now you know where the threshold is, because now you know what good is. Until you know what is good is, how will you know what bad is? Right? Does that make sense to you?
It does, but what I'm thinking still, till the time I get a taste for it, I will not know what is the threshold as well.
Well, I wouldn't say necessarily you need a taste, but even if you execute it properly, even maybe there's not a great taste, but your execution, you know, like I pray before I chant, I'm in the right mood, now I understand that I really need to connect to what the Maha Mantra means, I really need to open my heart. So maybe you're doing that and you're doing it well, but it's not like you're having this amazing taste, but at least you know that's what you're supposed to be doing. I think in this regard, it's like I'm teaching you how to play an instrument. Now tomorrow you may not play like Ravi Shankar, but I'm showing you this is how you hold it. Oh, I thought you're supposed to hold it like this. No, it's like this. You know. Oh, I was playing it laying down. No, you're supposed to sit up. You know. I was practicing at midnight. No, you should do it at 5 a.m. You know. So all these things. So at least you know the process. And now you can say, my threshold goes down, you know. I start lying on my back or whatever it is. And then the red flag, the alarms will go off in you. And this is everyone's experience who's tried to improve their japa. Alarms go off when they're not chanting well, and they go off quite quickly. Like you know right away. Because especially if you try to do it well every day, when that one day you don't do it well, it's kind of obvious. I'm not doing it like I did the last week. Right? So I think maybe for you, focus on the things you've learned here as the standard, whether it's a high taste or not. And then when you drop from that standard, you'll realize I'm going below what I would consider proper japa. You know, it's like we can call it Pondraka Japa, It looks like Japa, but it's not. And that's really the problem, right? I chanted 16 rounds of Pondraka Japa. Prabhu, what's Pondraka Japa? It just looks like Japa, but it's not. So now that you know more about what Japa really is, it should be easier to recognize what it isn't. And it, like we were saying yesterday, it's not always going to be evaluated on the basis of taste, although it may be, but it's going to be more evaluated on the basis of effort. And really, the difference for a lot of devotees between good japa and not good is just effort, just that they're trying. And so what I'm trying to show you is not only try, but how to try, like what to try for. Because if you just try harder, you try harder. I was once at a seminar, and he put. You have a pen? He put a pen on the floor, and he said, try to lift up the pen. Because he was trying to make a point, you can't try, you either lift it or, so try to lift up the pen, But the point is, if I'm going to try harder, which I should, I need to know what that looks like, what it means to try harder. Right? So now I think you know what it means to try harder, so you can try harder. And you can just say the threshold is how much I try. And if I get a little lazy with my japa, I've gone below my threshold. So that can be a very simple threshold. Forget that example. I don't think it worked. If you didn't understand it, don't worry. I can give you the example independent of what I was telling you. His point was, you either do something or you don't. You can't try. Sometimes you say, Prabhu, can you do this? And you say, I'll try. That could also mean I'm going to fail. Because rather than saying, I'll do it. But the point I'm saying is that sometimes we have to say try because we're not in control of the result. So I can't produce nectar out of my lips, but I can try, right? So trying in this sense means, yes, I'm doing it. I just can't guarantee the result is going to be, but I can do it. So that's why it's a humble way of doing a sankalpa, saying I will try. Meaning I am going to do it. I'm going to put my effort into it, but I don't know what's going to happen. And there's part of this. You ever heard this idea of enjoy the ride, enjoy the process? You may not reach the goal, but enjoy the process. So part of learning to improve japa is, if it's not perfect, at least relish the fact that you're chanting and Krishna's there and you have this relationship. And although it's not as great as you want it to be, but appreciate it. Enjoy the ride. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. And if you try, it'll be good. Something good will come out of trying.